Chapter 8: The Choice. Later that day, Decima ventured beyond the garden, following the barely visible trail that wound into the woods. The air grew cooler as she walked, the trees thicker and the light dimmer, though the sun still hung high in the sky. This part of the forest always felt different, as if time bent slightly around it, as if the rest of the world couldn't quite touch it. She called it the Whispering Path, not because of the wind, but because when she walked here, she could almost hear voices. Not clear words, but echoes, feelings, longings, warnings. Today they felt louder. The pendant in her pocket felt heavier with every step, like it was leading her. Or warning her. Her fingers curled around it for reassurance, the cool metal pressing into her skin. Birdsong faded as she moved deeper. Even the leaves seemed to hush. She rounded a bend in the path and stopped. The archway. It stood exactly where she'd first seen it. Ancient. Moss-covered and humming with energy. But this time something was different. The runes along the stones glowed faintly, as though reacting to her presence. Her heart pounded as she stepped closer. The pendant pulsed in her hand, as if it too were responding to the archway, as if something was stirring within it, just waiting for her touch. She reached out, her fingers brushing the edge of the shimmering air. The space inside the arch rippled. Not like before. This time it shimmered, like the surface of a lake disturbed by a single drop of water. Her breath caught in her throat, heart pounding louder in her chest. A sudden jolt rushed through her arm. Warm, electric, alive. Her body trembled, not with fear, but with recognition, like she had just unlocked something that had been buried deep inside her. She stumbled back, her chest heaving with the sudden surge of energy. Her mind was still reeling when a voice, not spoken, not heard in the usual sense, filled the air around her. "Welcome, Decima." Her heart stopped. Her breath, shaky and shallow, caught in her throat. She spun around, eyes darting frantically. There was no one. The woods were as silent as they had been just moments before. No one was there, but the presence lingered. Gentle, powerful, familiar. Then, behind her, the faintest sound broke the silence. Footsteps, crunching softly on the leaves. Her breath caught again. She turned. Daniel. He was standing there, his eyes locked on the archway, then shifting to meet hers. There was no surprise in his expression, no confusion, just a quiet understanding, as if he had known this moment would come. "You opened it," he said, his voice low but steady. "I didn't mean to," she replied, her voice barely more than a breath, still trying to catch her bearings. Daniel's eyes held hers for a long moment, his gaze not just searching but penetrating, as if he was seeing into the very core of her. "It means you're ready." "Ready for what?" she asked, her pulse quickening, each word making her chest tighten further. He took a step closer to her, the distance between them closing, his presence somehow more comforting yet more commanding. His eyes never wavered from hers. The pull between them was undeniable, like a thread weaving them together, pulling tighter, drawing them closer, filling the space between them with the weight of everything unspoken. "To choose." The words hung in the air, heavy with finality. "To choose." Decima felt the earth beneath her shift, the ground itself trembling in response to his words, to the choice she was about to make. Her heart beat louder in her chest. Choose? She didn't even understand what this meant. Her gaze flickered back to the archway, the runes glowing brighter now, pulsing like the beat of her heart. Something was calling to her from within it, something deeper than just the magic of the woods. It was like the archway itself was waiting, watching, beckoning her to step forward, to cross the threshold into something new. But what would she be leaving behind? What would she be walking toward? "Choose?" she repeated, her voice cracking slightly. "What do I have to choose?" Daniel was closer now, his hand reaching out to gently touch her shoulder, grounding her with his touch. His eyes softened, but there was a strength in them that made her feel like she could withstand the weight of this decision. "You're not alone, Decima. You never were. The magic is in you, but now you have to choose whether you will embrace it or walk away." She swallowed hard, the words lingering in her mind, wrapping around her heart like chains. She didn't know if she was ready, but the question wasn't really about readiness, was it? The magic had already begun to claim her. It had already pulled her in. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the gravity of the choice settle inside her. Then, with a steadying breath, she opened them again, looking at the archway. Looking at Daniel. "I'm ready," she said softly, more to herself than anyone else. And with that, she took a step forward. The air around her seemed to crackle with energy, the world around her vibrating in response to her movement. The archway shimmered, rippling like water as she passed through it, and for a moment she felt weightless. She was in two places at once, the familiar world she had known, and something deeper, something ancient. When her feet touched solid ground again, she realized the world had changed. Everything felt more alive. The trees around her seemed taller, their leaves shimmering with gold. The air was thick with magic, more tangible than it had ever been. Her chest tightened as she realized she had crossed into something far beyond her understanding. She wasn't alone. Daniel stepped through behind her, the air settling around them like a blanket. "It's done," he said softly, his voice full of awe. Decima's breath caught as she turned to him. The moment of stepping into the unknown had made her realize something. There was no going back. She had chosen, and the magic had accepted her.